Welcome back to Doctors Teach. This is the podcast where we talk all things faculty development, resident remediation, and the stuff that doesn't usually make it into orientation binders. I'm your host, Doc Mack, and today we're diving into something that gets way more confusing than it should: remediation versus probation. Two words, big consequences, and yes, they are absolutely not the same. So let me just say it. Residents love to throw around the word probation like it's confetti. They hear they're on a learning plan or they're being pulled into a meeting with the program director, and suddenly they're texting their co-residents like, "I think I'm on probation." Honestly, though, I don't really blame them. Most of the time, it's because we haven't clearly explained what's happening. As programs, we think we've communicated it well, we've used our internal labels and said it's remediation, not probation. But from the resident's point of view, it really all feels the same. It's stressful for them, uncertain, and potentially career ending. So it's no wonder they assume the worst. So let's get clear on this. So remediation is a structured, supportive plan. You've identified a gap, maybe clinical judgment, communication, professionalism, whatever. And then you build a timeline with specific goals and actions to help the resident improve. But here's the kicker: the resident is still in good standing. They can moonlight, they can run for chief, and if they complete remediation successfully, it's not reportable. Not on their licensing paperwork, not on verification letters. You get the idea. It's between the program and the learner. So probation, on the other hand, is a whole different ballgame. It's formal, it's disciplinary, and the resident is now not in good standing. So that's really one of the key differences. That status shows up everywhere, from licensing applications to employment verification and hospital credentialing. If you say the word probation, you better mean it. So why do we care the difference between the two labels? It's really because using the wrong label can absolutely derail a resident's future, or at least put your program in pretty hot water. Let's say you call it probation in an email, but your policy says the resident is still in good standing. Guess what? That little contradiction is now part of the official record. And if the resident challenges your decision later, well, you've just handed their attorney your receipts. You really don't want that. So for me, the easiest way to tell the difference between the two is just standing. So remediation is the resident is still in good standing. Probation, the resident is not in good standing. That one detail changes everything from access to privileges and even what really gets reported down the line. All right, so we've got all the definitions out of the way. Let's talk about best practices. Best practice number 1. No surprise here, it's define your terms. If your program doesn't have clear written definitions of remediation and probation and good standing, you're playing with fire. I don't care if your CCC knows what it means or if your faculty knows what it means. They know the difference between the two terms. You really need it in policy. It's something you can reference, something a resident can read, and something a lawyer can't misinterpret. I always say if it's not defined, it's up for debate, and you don't want that debate happening after the fact. All right, our second best practice: use consistent language. So that means your emails, learning plans, meeting minutes, they should all match what your policy says. So if your policy says that the resident is in remediation, but your email to the resident says disciplinary probation, guess what? You just created a contradiction. So I know this doesn't happen very often, but contradictions don't just cause confusion for residents. They can really tank your credibility with the GMEC, the GME office, or even a legal review. So I guess my best recommendation here is just to say what you mean, document what you say, and really consistency is your best friend. All right, best practice number 3, train your team. You need to be educating your CCC and faculty. And I promise you that half of your faculty are still using the term probation for anything that feels serious. It's not malice, it's just habit. Your job is to help them understand the difference and why it matters. Faculty education should include how to refer a resident for formal review, what language they need to avoid, and how to support remediation without accidentally escalating it. So I like to say the CCC can't make good decisions if everyone's working from a different playbook. So just making sure everybody is on the same page is going to go a long way. So we talked about some pretty heavy stuff in this episode. So let's bring it home. If you remember nothing else from this episode, remember this. Write it down. Say it the same way every single time. And make sure everyone on your team is speaking the same language. Remediation is not a punishment, it's a plan. It's support. It's what we should be doing when residents hit a bump in the road. Probation, that's when things are more serious and it comes with consequences, big, reportable consequences. So label things carefully, say what you mean, and document like a lawyer is going to read it. Because one day, they just might. In the next episode, we're talking documentation, specifically how to write it so it's useful, clear, and won't come back to bite you. Because let's be real, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. All right, as always, thank you for supporting this podcast. If you want more support with remediation, be sure to download the free introductory lesson of the Elevate Remediation Fast Track course. Or take the free remediation risk assessment. You can go straight to my website at www.docmaclearning.com. And the links are in the description and show notes, so just grab what you need. We'll see you next week.